With Photon Hypernova coming out this month, it is expected that we might get a ban list soon, and honestly, I think we need one. Badly. For me, I hated this format. Fighting tier all the time has just drained me out, and I know I'm not the only one who feels this way. So in this video, I'm just predicting on what I think will get hit on this ban list, as well as my reasonings for these hits. So, without any more intros, let's jump into this. Alright, so what do I expect from this list? Well, two things. First is that the list will be big and will actually change the format like the January 2020 list, or the list will do nothing like the last ban list because the cards are still new, which will be frustrating, but nothing we can do about it. So that's what I'm expecting. Now let's get into the hits themselves. Starting things off, I think it's possible that the TCG might go hard on tier. I understand the deck is still new, but now it's 8 months old and it had its chance to shine brighter than every other deck in the game. This is kind of like Zodiac back in 2017, where they were dominant from their release until September 2017, and I believe the same thing could happen to tier. Now, I gotta mention this, but if the TCG goes hard on tier, they can't do the same hits that the OCG did, cause despite their hits like just banning Kikalos, tier is still the best deck in their format, which goes to show that you can't go light on this deck. You have to go full on ban the best cards in this deck, as they can adapt very easily. So starting with the bans, I got Kikalos, Havness, and Planet. In my previous video, I mentioned how these cards are the best tier cards, so it's probably best for Konami to just ban these cards altogether, as limiting Havness, Planet, and just banning Kit like the OCG did does absolutely nothing. Another one that could happen is Merly. Some people say that it will cut off the Sprite engine, which I can understand, so this card may get banned too, but I feel pretty confident that Kit, Havness, and Planet will be the ones to get banned. The next ban I have is the Wind Barrier statue. If you've seen my first short, this card mainly got banned in the OCG because Kashtira can summon this card from the deck with Raid Raptor Arsenal Falcon, so I can see the TCG hitting this card before Kashtira gets all of its cards in Photon Hypernova. One more ban I would like to see but might not happen is Sprite Elf. I think we can all agree that the Sprite cards ruin the game too, and really no one would miss Sprite Elf. That being said, I do understand that the card hasn't been seeing much play lately and might not get hit now, but this is more wishful thinking for me. But hey, if Union Carry got banned quickly, why not Elf? Moving on to the limits, I think it's possible that the TCG will limit all 4 Ishizu cards. I understand that the cards are still relatively new, but considering how much play they've been seeing throughout this format, I can definitely see a possibility where the TCG limits all 4 of them. Some of you might say this is too far, but the thing is, it's not just one Ishizu card that's degenerate, it's all of them. So you kinda have no choice but to hit all 4 if you want to change this format. If you saw my previous video, I said Agito and Kelbeck should get banned in the future because they're the Millers, but some people have told me that Mudora and Keldo should get banned, which I wouldn't be opposed to that either. Honestly, I could possibly see a future where either the Shufflebacks or the Millers are the ones to get banned, while the other 2 get limited. Hell, there could be a future where all of them might get the Dragon Ruler treatment, where they all get banned, because let's be real here, every Ishizu card is just ban-worthy in its own right. Another limit I got is Sprite Starter, and while I want Elf to get banned right now, I can see Starter getting hit at least because it's Sprite's E-Telly, and usually cards like those get limited, so I wouldn't be too much opposed to that happening, but in all honesty, Elf is the real problem. As for this next card, I've been thinking for a while, but I think it's possible in the future and that Foolish Burial Goods getting limited or semi-limited could happen. Some of you will call me crazy, however, in the OCG, this card went to 2, and I don't think it's because of tier, but more of like a general hit. What I mean is that lately spells and traps with graveyard effects have become a lot better than before, like Rainbow Bridge of Salvation and Tearlament Solek, I don't know how you say that, but this card has become just as powerful as the original Foolish Burial. Now, I could be wrong on this, but I'm starting to think that in the future, Konami in general will limit Foolish Burial Goods, just like how they did with original Foolish Burial, because of how much better spells and traps with graveyard effects have gotten. In other words, it will get limited for the same reason as Foolish Burial, but for spells and traps. That's pretty much all I got for hits. As for unbans, I just got Ancient Fairy Dragon since it got an errata. Anything else, I don't know, because the TCG lately likes to surprise people with unbans, like how they did with Subsitoad and like Cyberjar. Also, it just doesn't matter to me as it won't really change the format that much, but it will be nice if they brought back some cards like maybe Zen Mighty. But if they do that, they have to ban Hunter, so that's pretty much all I have to say for unbans. Not really much for semi limits, just to add in there. Before I end things off, there is something I wanted to talk about, and it's how people will think other cards will get hit, like Fluunderies, the Adventure Engine, and such. I'm going to be honest with you, but I don't think the TCG will hit any other decks besides the ones I mentioned before, and the reason why is because Tier's been dominating this format for the past couple of months. Like, why do we need to hit these other cards that are barely seeing any play this format? OCG did that, and Tier is still the best deck. I feel like if the OCG didn't hit those other decks, maybe they would have had a better chance fighting Tier in their current format, but maybe I'm just reaching. Plus, as much as people want Flu to get hit, I gotta ask why. Ever since Mystic Mine got banned, the best this deck has gone in terms of a large scale event like YCS Australia is top 32. Why do we need to hit a top 32 deck? Honestly, the only card that deserves to get banned is the Wind Barrier statue, but it's not even because of Flu, it's mainly because of Kashtira. So, for me personally, I just don't see the TCG hitting any other decks besides Tier and Sprite since they were the ones that have been dominant since their release. Though this is just my opinion, so take it with a grain of salt, but I do believe that the TCG ain't going to be hitting any other decks besides the ones I have mentioned because there's just no point in doing that. But that's all I got to say about this subject. What do you guys think will get here on the ban list? Do you agree with my hits? I assume some of them you might disagree with, but I would like to hear your thoughts down below. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.